day after my recital. I will talk a bit about a couple of percussion issues. The first one, I will just tell about myself, what I have done. I started as an artistic director and player of a percussion group The Hague, the most prominent percussion ensemble in the Netherlands. I did that for 10 years, but I will just tell a bit about my musical education, background, what I've done, my interests, etc. And I will also talk about percussion writing in the Netherlands. What do Dutch composers write for percussion? What is the repertoire? What is the history of percussion in the Netherlands? I will just talk a bit about that. Dutch repertoire is not necessarily played all over the world. A composer like Louis Andriessen gets many performances throughout the world, but some other composers are perhaps a bit of a secret. In Taiwan, I don't know, I will find out. Anyway, I will talk about that. And I will also talk about setup pieces in general. So setup or multi-percussion, combining a variety of instruments in one piece is something which I consider very special and also very typically percussion. Igor Stravinsky in 1916 actually wrote for a couple of drums, a cymbal, a triangle, a tambourine. This can be considered one of the first parts for multi-percussion. And Darius Milhaud did a similar thing a couple of years later. And I think this writing for a combination, a variety of percussion instruments is something which is really essential to percussion. Actually, composers writing for one vibraphone or one marimba is something which came much later. So really the origin of solo percussion and percussion in chamber music, I think, is multi-percussion. So it's also one of my personal interests, so that's something I will talk about. I will talk about repertoire throughout the last couple of decades. How did writing for multi-percussion develop? What are interesting and relevant pieces, in my opinion? So that's something I will talk about. And perhaps we will end up playing something together as well. To be honest, I never visited Taiwan so far. It's my first visit to Taiwan, and even though it's a very short visit, a relatively short visit, I really look forward to it, and I hope to use the few hours which I have between rehearsing, playing a concert, doing a lecture, doing a masterclass. There will be a couple of spare hours, and I will most certainly spend them looking around in Taipei. So that's also something I look forward to.